Good morning, everyone. This is Mortgage Pros 411. I'm Audrey Boyce-Noe with Kevin Casey, and today we are joined by none other than Paul. You ready? You ready, Paul?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Paul Hindman.
Oh, damn. Good
Not to
job.
be confused with the other name that could have been said by someone on a previous occasion who shall
Various
remain
other
nameless.
names. Various
What?
other names. Various other names, right? So,
Well, that's
Hey,
for
listen,
sure.
they screw my name on a constant basis. So
Kevin? How does anyone mess up
how can you
Kevin?
screw up a name like Kevin Casey? Oh, they do, and they do it well. It's quite interesting.
Okay, that is ridiculous. First of all, I've never heard of your name being screwed up. However, Audrey Boyce-Noe, let me tell you how many different versions of that. We won't even
Oh,
discuss the fact that when I was in school, it was Boobanoe instead of Boyce-Noe. Uh, imagine that.
can't imagine they pulled that one. Yeah, no, even when I was doing the flyer this morning, it's telling me that I spelled your name wrong.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it tells me I have too many S's, it says.
Okay, well,
okay.
let's talk about
So,
that
so,
flyer, shall
so,
we?
so the, so the, so the boobanoo made me go red. I'm sorry. I just,
it
damn.
just is what it is, you
Yeah.
know? It all made sense when my birth mother found me. Okay, so moving right along, let's talk about those flyers, Kevin, just for a second. So God bless Kevin, who does the flyer every week. I am so appreciative. Now, I used to try to micromanage what the title was going to be, and I finally gave it up because it was a fruitless attempt at micromanaging, actually, and it just wasn't worth anything. However, every once in a while, I noticed our flyer titles are a little funky. And today I noticed that we were talking about AI for the 55th time. I don't know why, because I'm not planning to. Well, maybe a little bit, but certainly not title worthy. Anyway, Kevin, any insight into
How did
what
I come up
pops
with
in
the
your
flyer
head?
today? Because I was told the only information I had was that Paul had been our guest previously. So I pulled up the flyer from
True,
last time, and the
true.
flyer had two topics. It was one was about AI, and the other one was about expanding in business mortgage companies and by through acquisition. And so I decided, well, I'm just going to parlay that information into the next title. That's how it came up.
Okay.
And
So,
So Paul, Kevin thinks that you haven't had another thought since then, and that we would
well, that
definitely
that
just
that would be
okay.
recycle
So
what we
that, so
discussed
that was,
before.
that was May, right? And so since May and here recently, I really did a series on AI. And that
there you
series
go.
that series was it was thought provoking, I guess. It got a lot of feedback, and then Aaron D over at Interlink, she posted a little slogan that I thought was cool. It says "Stop the slop," and
Yes.
that slogan it's catchy. I put a little hashtag there, and so really at the end of the day, we were just trying to say, all of this AI driven dribble, right? I mean, if it's creative and it's you, and you don't have to close the gap when you actually meet people in person to say, hey, that was AI, that wasn't really me, and this is me, and I have a lot of explaining to do. Then it doesn't really work, right? So if your AI is better than you, got to close that gap, right?
Well, first of all, we love Erin D. She's been a guest on our show before,
Can
and
we get her
she's
back?
yeah, you're right, we
I
do.
think even I
Um,
think you banned her or something.
what?
I think you
And
banned Aaron.
yeah.
That's what happened.
How dare you? I would I would never do such a thing. Okay, so it's funny you say that, Paul, because I saw this promotion today for a webinar on how to teach LLOs to build a podcast in a day without recording a single word. And it made me think, first of all, are you kidding me? And secondly, there's a lot of talk about what percentage of content on LinkedIn is AI generated and how people are able to understand that pretty quickly that that's what's going on. and they don't like it, a lot of them. And also, I just wondered, Kevin, what do you think if we just turned Mortgage Pro's 411 into some AI generated thing? You and I don't have to be involved anymore. I mean, do we not have to do any work? Do we not have to do any research? I
I
mean,
think
maybe you don't even
that's
need to make a flyer. We just put some
I
bots in there. What do you think?
such a great idea. Yeah. In fact, you know what we could do is we could just stop the show right now and just let AI take over from here.
How do we know this isn't AI already?
Oh, please. I mean, come on. Like, if this doesn't ring authentic, I don't know what the hell would.
Anyway, so I just feel like everybody was talking about their AI image, their AI voice, their AI, content and context and all these other things. And I just thought, damn, if you wake up every morning and let AI do you, who are you? Right? I mean,
Amen.
right?
I don't want to watch some fake thing. Just like I don't want to listen to computer generated music mostly. I mean, I want to hear humans creating things. I want to hear a human opinion. I want to hear humans. I am not ready to abandon humans, as some people seem to be.
Now, back to the original question of why I picked those topics on my headline.
Way to go. Good. Way
Yeah.
to circle back, Kevin. Good job.
Pivot. That's a great
So,
pivot.
one of the issues I had yesterday was with AI, and that was when I received a bunch of documents from a client through our internal system that's very secure. But part of the thing is now and then I had to convert those from our secure system into our Encompass system. And as I'm transferring the documents over, I get this message saying, "Do you want AI to read the document
Mm. Hmm.
and summarize the document for you?" Now, these are bank statements and tax returns and stuff. And I'm like, absolutely not do I want AI to read or summarize these things because these are
Yeah.
private, confidential documents. Well,
Yeah.
I said no. And then I said, don't even ask me again. And then the next thing, what does AI start doing?
What?
I'm
Reading
actually on
and
a webinar.
translating documents.
I want to talk.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. So what I was like, okay, and I'll have to stop that. Like, wait a minute, I definitely don't want you translating, tax returns and bank
All right. Thanks
statements
so
for
much.
me. So yeah, that was a little bit of my dilemma yesterday with AI and how to deal with that. Because like it's insisting on doing things even when I tell it I don't want it to do these things.
Okay, so
Wow.
talk about being real. That was my endocrinologist, and I
Yeah.
had to take the call because I just so happen to know them really well, and so I had an appointment. They canceled on me, and so they were calling me back to say I'll fit you in. But I took the call because she was calling me herself, and I'm sorry for that.
I
Apologize.
thought that you were gonna. God, I thought they called with some result, and we were about to hear. Uh,
Hey,
hang on. Oh
Paul,
shit!
I took a curve there, right? So
Oh
it's
my
like,
god! I need a drink. I mean, it's not even noon, for God's sake.
one day, Paul, I got a call from a doctor
Oh my
uh,
god.
for my 3 o'clock appointment that afternoon, saying, the doctor's administration calls is apologize, but the doctor can't make it to the meeting or to your appointment today. We have to reschedule your 3 o'clock appointment this afternoon. To which I replied, "Oh, well, you didn't give me 24-hour notice. I'm going to have to fine you." And
Good for
oh
you.
my God.
all right. So
Oh,
I'm just gonna,
amen.
okay. I'm just
Whoa,
gonna
whoa,
say
whoa. It
I
got
don't.
better
It got
because
better. Oh,
they're
geez.
like, well, how much?
Oh, geez.
Oh my god. All right.
Okay. I just want to just clarify real quick. So if you look, yeah. So when you have a relationship with anyone in healthcare and they call you and it's a good thing. It's a
Yep.
relationship. It's a partnership. And uh, and I'm grateful to have that kind of thing. So I'll just say that out loud. Um,
I don't exactly know what an endocrinologist does, but if someone could Google that and let me know real quick, that'd be great. Anyway, okay, moving right along. So it is Fed week, kids. That's right. The Fed meeting started today with our Fed chairman, Kevin Warsh, not to be confused with Kevin Casey. I wonder if they mix his name up.
Once in a
And
while.
we will have the
Something.
Fed. we'll have the Fed decision tomorrow. They are anticipating we're going to pause again. I mean, we don't have any worse news since the last Fed meeting. So, as a matter of fact, we've had some better than expected inflation numbers. So, what are your thoughts, Paul? Pause,
Okay, so
hike,
Bill
lower
Bodner.
by 4 points.
Now, Bill Bodner, who I debate
Yeah, we've had
with
him on our
all the
show. We
time.
love him.
Yeah, and so Bill says in a post today that even though there's all kinds of probabilities out there, there's still the Fed, the members are not in agreement, and they are really not in agreement, and they are
But
very,
divided.
yeah,
It's not lopsided.
very vocal about it, right? But
Yep.
because, okay, so I love this. I love this. So they say no forward guidance, right? But come on, that doesn't mean anything. There's no meaning to no forward guidance because of the fact that anything that they say is forward guidance. So
But
so
if they don't say anything, then
that,
there's
okay, but they are saying a
But
lot.
they're
That
all
guy's
out there babbling away
That's right.
constantly.
Yes. And
Yes.
so what that really means is that the new guy Wash, I mean, he's really in a tough position because the only audience that he has is one guy and he's in the White House. And so at the end of the day, pleasing Trump is just not on the agenda. It can't be done, right? So will there be a hike or a cut? I think it's more of the same. We literally, okay, so my local news said, okay, this week you can plan on paying this for gas this week. And literally the next thing they said was, oh, well, maybe we should say that by day, right? Because the price fluctuates so much.
Yeah.
And so I don't want to beat that issue up too much, but how in the hell is the Fed going to know when the country doesn't know, when the
right.
administration doesn't know? So we don't have that level of certainty right now, and any prediction of what they're going to do is based on when they get together and they talk about it and they decide. And I literally think they're more the same.
Well, I
You
think
know,
they're going to go for prices from a month ago, and month ago prices were down because gas prices went down. But today prices are up, but now starting to go. Well, yesterday prices were up, or 2 days ago, but now gas prices are going back down again. So does the Fed use a month ago data, yesterday's data, or okay, we all know tomorrow's data is going to be better than today's data, so do we go off of that data?
Okay, Kevin, I love you for saying that because you that was my argument right
Yeah,
there. That's
exactly.
it,
Yeah,
right? That's how everybody feels
exactly.
every day.
Yep.
mhm.
Exactly. And also, we've got God, but I agree. Like this guy, I don't understand why he took this position. I don't understand what he is going to achieve from it because he already has more money than God. He's married to even more money than that. And he's had a long illustrious career. I mean, I cannot figure out what the upside of this is for him. With that being said, he does have a cheering squad in the White House telling him, you go, lower those rates. But again, as we know, historically mortgage rates don't completely follow Fed funds rates. So they if they, let's say they lowered and the market looks at it and says that's bad for the economy, all of a sudden the
Rates
mortgage
go
rates
up,
go up. And
and
that
the
has
opposites.
happened many times. So the market has to agree with, is that a good idea for the economy as a whole? Otherwise, it's going to be counterproductive. So I, I don't know whether there's a disconnect on understanding that Fed funds does not equal mortgage rates,
Yeah,
or I don't know. But
the
regardless,
thing too is if the Fed
Okay, so
raise
I've
rates,
been go
that
ahead.
would actually push rates lower.
pardon me,
Yes.
The
say it again.
opposite is true. The opposite is true. If the Fed raised rates, that would actually slow the economy and push rates down.
It could. But it all depends, and it's all depending on everything else that is happening too. So I think that the word here is what has been in place for as long, I mean, I swear to God, forever. Uncertainty is rough on the bond market. And so don't take any chances. So we'll have a decision tomorrow, Thursday and Friday. Thursday, we have GDP and we have PCE. So PCE is personal consumption expenditure, which used to be and may still at least partially influence the Fed decision. Paul, I think I read somewhere that they do get a peek at those reports ahead of time if they're within a certain number of hours or something. Do you know whether or not they'll see those PCE numbers before they
Okay,
make their decision tomorrow?
so seeing, right, they have all the information and access to information that they ever need. Seeing and being able to actually say something about seeing is two different things,
All
right?
right, fair
And so
enough.
Pal would wait. Even if he had the latest and greatest anything, he would wait because he just wasn't that guy. Warsh, I feel like again, Estee Lauder, his wife and all the money and all 200 million bucks he just gives to her money manager or whatever, and it goes on about his business. But really, at the end of the day, I think that was about legacy, because when you are thinking about how history is going to be written, you want those jobs because those are the things, those are the political, the positions that get, a place in history, right? And so
Right, but look at
he wants his
Powell.
place
I
in
mean,
history
he was appointed by President Trump in his first administration.
that Trump
Who would have
denies.
who oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Wow. But who would have seen what was going to come at the end? So you think, okay, this is going to be my legacy. This is going to be, what I'm remembered for. Well, that could go off the rails and turn out badly. And it's a risk.
I
Definitely a
actually
risk.
don't think that turns out badly for
Okay. Tell me
him.
why.
So in his case, he's taken over for a guy that obviously Trump, even though he said 100 times that Biden, did, appointed Powell, and that we know that that's not true. But Trump says a lot of stuff that's not true. I don't want to make it political. I just did, but the point is that
Behave
um,
yourself.
the point is that you know Warsh is going to, it doesn't matter to him personally how this turns out because his wealth will remain. But the economy is set up in such a way that if he moves the needle in either direction, the talking points and the messaging around the value that's created from either way, it doesn't matter. They're going to message a positive result no matter how it goes. That's just what the messaging does. And for those that are watching this, we clearly only care about what rates do in this event, right? And so our mortgage rates, and I had a post today
Yeah, you
talking
did.
about, and so I feel like it's not a rate issue, it's a home price issue. And people have been calling for recession. What the hell? We don't want a
I know.
recession.
I know. It makes
Jesus,
me so upset.
right?
Yes.
And so rates, just deal with the rates as they are and they move.
Yes.
Just deal with that. Education and the borrower, right? The borrower just needs to hear something that they believe and trust. And you can't necessarily negotiate around what you pay for the house, but you can friggin' always negotiate around what you do decide on with the rate, right? The rate is
Within
right
reason. I mean, it's pretty
that's right,
expensive
within
to buy
reason.
it down.
I know, but the point that I'm trying to make here is that the rate is the thing that moves more than the price of the home when you've got an exit strategy, right? Because it's harder, to if you wait right now to buy and prices go up, you lose, right?
Yeah.
100%. Well, and that has been the case for the last few years. And we've had this conversation on multiple occasions. The rates are the rates are the rates. They are just what they are. And I have given up on waiting for them to come down because it is crazy out there. And no matter where we are, what's going on, there's some version of crazy, at least right around the corner, if not, we're in the middle of it. The other thing, too, though, is, and I've pointed this out so many times, it doesn't matter what the rate is because whatever it is, they want lower. So as soon as we get to 6%, they want 5.5. As soon as we get to 5.5, they want 4.5. It doesn't matter. So when we were at 2.5%, you still had people who wanted 1 3/4.
And
So
that's why you're valuable. And that's why Kevin is valuable. And that's why the people on this watching us are valuable, because it's how they negotiate through that desire for something lower that gets them the business that, keeps this industry going and keeps us, making money.
But
Yeah.
Paul,
Because
this industry has been structured now, and it was pointed out that the shift may have happened around after the meltdown, where we've taken our focus off the borrower and what they need, and we've put our focus on what does the IMB need, what are the quarterly profits, are we going to go IPO, how many planes do we have to fly around the country, how much money are we making, and then dumping a ton of money into tech, which is fine, except a lot of it nobody used. And it was a big, humongous waste of money. And there's always this conversation about, oh, productivity, and we're going to make things better and more less expensive. Yet, all we've seen is the price to manufacture a loan be driven up exponentially with no end in sight. And then they're saying, oh, well, it's the humans. They're the problem. Now, if we just get rid of the humans and bring in AI, that'll fix everything. And it's all a bunch of baloney. And so,
okay,
in my opinion, that's just my opinion.
okay.
What do you think?
So I had someone put a comment on one of my posts this week that said, "It's not a file, it's a family."
Oh, what a
I
great
love
way to
that.
look at it. Oh my
Right?
God.
And
Yes.
I thought to myself,
Oh,
oh
That is a
gosh,
great. I love that one.
that's just right.
wow.
Not a file, it's a family. And I didn't thank that person enough.
Yeah.
But what
Ugh.
and literally, okay, so I'm not going to mention any names, but I'm talking to somebody that's pretty, I mean, had a great career, um, ran a nationwide mortgage company, ran the whole thing, and he reiterated um, the he how frustrated he literally walked off the job. He walked off the job out of in frustration. And I was like, you mean you retired?" And he goes, "No, I just couldn't take it anymore." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, what if?" And he goes, "Yeah, but you know what? I have money. I made shitloads of money, but it's changed so much." And I said, "Well, if you could pinpoint one thing that, or a time period or something that triggered that, what would that be?" And he said, "The Great Recession." Because the level of greed to get through all that prompted us going from family to file and transaction and Wall Street and all of that sort of stuff. And that was the trigger for him, and that was the trigger for the industry. I don't, I was there, I participated, I was at Lehman Brothers. I don't know that that's necessarily, there's so many moving parts and so many complexities, but I think that he's on to something there,
Yeah, he is.
right? But
Yeah,
but
for sure.
if we just get back to, and I don't, want to monopolize, but the situational component of fixing someone, sort of educating them, hey, you want a home? This is what you have to do, right? Um, and if you want the best economic outcome from that, this is what you have to keep doing, right?
Yes. Yes. So listening to you, I'm realizing I commented on your post, and that must be where I had heard that idea that the transition happened after the meltdown. I'm going to give your post and your comments about your friend. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that
Where
must
do we
be
find this
where it came.
post?
LinkedIn. Paul is extremely prolific on LinkedIn. I mean, I don't know how he does much else. He must not watch TV because he's always got a lot of very thought-provoking ideas that he's posting, and so yeah, so follow him on LinkedIn for sure. Tony, in the comments, we had Tony said, when people call a transaction a deal, I don't think there's a way to cheapen the feeling for a potential buyer any more than calling it them a deal. And that is so right. I
Yeah,
mean,
that is spot on.
spot
Yeah,
on. So,
I
yeah.
got to tell you, one of the things that really drives me in loving this business, it's the thank you cards I've gotten. Not like, you close escrow and they send you a little thank you note, they post something. It's the ones you get like years later
Oh yeah.
and say, Kevin, I just wanted to let you know how you changed my life for the better. And
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
go down and list everything that happened because they were able to buy a house that they didn't think they could buy. And that is what it's like, oh, now I know why I do this. And I remember when I was really kicking butt, my number one rule for my team was that they would get a bonus on a unsolicited thank you note. And it was really interesting because I literally got, I think, a dozen thank you cards that year, unsolicited from clients, because my team was looking to satisfy them to such a degree that they would send me a thank you note. Um, and it was really like I literally lined them all up, and it was really funny because I got at the end of the year, it was like, wow, I actually got 12. Like that's one a month. That's perfect. That was the goal. Um, and they were all like heartfelt thank yous from all my clients. It was kind of cool.
Yeah,
So
Kevin.
now people don't have stamps anymore, so they write reviews. And it is something that has become very apparent is incredibly important these days. So our company sends out a link to our borrowers once we close escrow, asking them to please write a review. And some of those reviews are just exactly like Kevin described in the thank you notes. And what we're finding, because Kevin just had a referral that closed, a loan that turned into a loan that closed from a chat GPT or some AI recommending him as the lender someone should use. So it is a thing now, and you should be getting reviews online. And we're not Google, we're not using Google, they are using some other service. And I said, where are these stored? What if this service went away? Do we have these captured somewhere? It's really important because this is everyone talking about why they should work with us. And it matters. People are Googling us for sure. So yeah, it's good. Really good.
I, I,
Um,
I,
Go
if I
ahead.
could, just so two things. So it's not, it's just okay. So Kevin and the whole story, of the appreciative and the thank you, and that's very gracious. Um, Eddie Perez, company owner, just posted about his dad, you know, doing a lot of great things for people, and then when his father died, they showed up at his funeral and sent notes and all kinds of things, and they gave it, testimonies of all the things that he had done that Eddie didn't know about, and so even though we might not think we're making a difference when we help someone into a home, that's a big friggin' deal, right? And
Huge.
we are making a difference,
Right.
and people do remember because it's about home, and because it's about home, they're making that connection to all the memories that took place in that house. So I just wanted to make that point. And on the AI, so the AI reviews, and this is really kind of cool because that those reviews, once they're digitized and put out in, out there in AI land, or it is amazing where they go. So I've had plenty of discussions about people that have been recommended through these platforms that way. And even if you don't have a voice, you you have a voice. And I just want to mention an LO that passed away, Irene, and she was in New York. Her and her husband, when they worked together, they were they did about 500 million in production annually. Now it's condos and high end condos, so it's the unit count that would probably be less impressive, but still that's a lot, right?
That's a lot.
So 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 she said at some point in their career, right, um, that they no longer did outbound calls or outbound anything really at the end of the day. All of their business was somebody picking up the phone and saying, "Hey, go to Irene,"
Yep.
right? And literally, you know, at the end of her life, she was trying to figure out if she what she was going to do with that database
Mm,
of people, and what was going to happen to them because she and her husband were no longer going to be able to serve them. How powerful is that? Right?
Wow. Wow.
Will
Well,
we
I mean,
have
for
that? Will we have that in the future? Will we be able to hear about those kinds of events in the future?
well, I mean, for some of us, 37 years and it's all referral. That's my business. And I've been told a million times how wrong that is and I should be doing all these other things and I'm actually thinking about doing some outward reaching things. I've been thinking about for a while, haven't done it because there is so much misinformation out there. At some point you think, all right, maybe I should throw my voice into the ring so that at least there's some, you know, not a bunch of BS. But I would imagine that the computer generated mortgage never got a thank you note. And no one ever remembered them later. And no one ever thought that they changed their life. So it is the human element cannot be underestimated or valued or shouldn't be.
Yeah. And you know what? Your voice is already out there. And so is the voice of a lot of people that we're talking to right now. Because literally, when we share our voice, we don't know where it goes. And we don't know how it is, taken. But we want one thing. We want our reputation to go along with it. And we want the quality of our work to be right there with our reputation. And those two things are going to bring us business. That's why your phone probably rings and emails come in and referrals come in and DMs come in and you don't feel the need to do that outbound thing at all. And I don't know, is it necessary? Right? What are you missing? Right?
Yeah.
If you don't feel you're busy enough, okay. But if you're already busy, I say stick with what's working, right?
So we have a comment from Jenny. She said, I had a recent closing where we sent the borrower an experience.com survey. He said he does not complete them because he gets a request for surveys for everything, including shopping at Walmart for toilet
Yeah.
paper. It was the second loan I did for him, and he said my company should know the service was good because he came back. And she put a sad face. And I think that that maybe part of the problem is it's how was your experience? No, tell the world how I did for you so someone else can read that and know that I could also help them. Maybe we frame it a little differently. I haven't had a pushback like that before, and that would make me sad too. But it's I think it has to do, I mean, maybe experience.com, maybe, I don't know. Like, thoughts, Paul? There's got to be some way to
Okay.
frame it so he gets it. Or maybe he's just the guy who's never going to do that. You know what I mean? Just
Okay.
maybe if you
So
told them that it helps you by showing other people that they should trust you, they could trust you too.
okay, so every time I stay anywhere, I I'm chatty. Come on. So
What?
um I I always you can't talk about everybody, but you can talk about one person that represents everybody, right? And and I always pick, a person or two people or whatever and talk about their experience or my experience with them. And it's a big deal. I get messages all the time. Thank you for sharing that and all that. But the home buying experience is the exact same thing, right? You get that one message that you can hang on to, and people hang on to that. And I would just say, don't be so scripted. It goes back to the situation. Just ask people, what is that one thing that's going to stay with you? What is the one thing that I did? And if there's nothing, tell me so I can learn from it. Tell me what I missed, right?
Well,
But
I
but
think
go ahead.
a lot of us don't use scripts, never have. We've been told we should. We still didn't. And here we are. So Jenny said I told him all of that and even made him a loaf of fresh sourdough bread after closing. So a couple things, Jenny. If sourdough bread made freshly in your oven does not speak to this man, there's something wrong with him and there's nothing you could have done that would have made it better. So you did everything you could. I'm very sorry, honey. However, the sourdough bread thing, I love fresh sourdough bread. And I don't know where you live, but I'm in Walnut Creek, California. So,
And then swing over to the bridge over to Pacifica. And,
Listen, don't worry about Kevin. I'll just give me his loaf, and I'm pretty sure I'll deliver it to him myself. I'll just make sure he gets it. You don't have to make 2 stops. We want to make this
by North Carolina because Paul could use this nice loaf.
Okay, you guys are shameless. That is just shameless.
Right? What?
Come on, now you're gonna get some bread. I mean, come on, jeez, that's just shameless.
Listen, you obviously have not had fresh sourdough bread, so it's a thing in the San Francisco Bay Area.
Okay, I came home and I had steaks on my front porch that had been there for like a week.
Ooh.
So
but they were cooked because they're in North Carolina.
Well, no, they have maggots in them because they've been sitting on his front porch in North Carolina for a week.
So yeah, but I would tell you, if you're going to send somebody something like that, just let them know in advance that you're doing that. So that,
that's kind of a no-brainer.
But Jenny got it right. Jenny got it right big time, right? All of those things.
She's amazing.
You got to figure it. That's right. You got to figure it out, and kudos to her.
So speaking of Jenny makes me think of some other people that we met in the last week when we were at the summer camp event in Irvine, California. We had so many people come up to us and say, I'm here because of you. We're really, we watch every Tuesday. Thank you. Nice, beautiful, lovely things. And first of all, I just want to say thank you from Kevin and I, because, we do this every week. We don't see anyone other than, Paul or whoever our guest is. We love it when you comment in, but it's really nice to know that there's some value for you and that you appreciate it. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I had the chance to interview our state senator, Ben Allen, who is one of the finalists in the runoff for California Insurance Commissioner in November. That was interesting, wasn't it, Kevin?
That was interesting.
Yeah.
And then the party afterwards, from getting to talk to him one-to-one, was really interesting.
Yeah, it was nice. Well, and speaking of reputation, someone had warned him about me, literally. Like, he said at the end that he was nervous going into it because he had been told I was no joke or something. And anyway, so it ended up being really great. But I had floated the idea of, we don't necessarily want insurance to be handled at the state or federal level by the government. However, it would be, in my opinion, a good idea if we had the state insurance commissioners across the country work together to come up with ideas and work with the insurance companies directly to come up with a collective way to move forward, because California is not the only place that has an insurance problem. We have hailstorms, we have hurricanes, tornadoes, there are floods, there's all sorts of things. I was listening to this.
Very simple solution to all of those.
Oh God, here we go.
We just need a law that outlaw big hailstorms, outlaw floods, outlaw.
Oh, right. Well, that'll fix it.
It solves that whole problem.
Thank you. That's very useful. So, anyway, I think we need to work together to fix this, because again, they keep talking about, wildfires, and water damage is, I think it's the number one insurance claim for some insurance companies. So it is a big problem on a national level. Doesn't matter what state you're in. We need to fix it. And I think we all need to work together. Wouldn't that be great? And Joni said, why keep building in a hurricane area? Well, I was listening to, me, I've talked about my little Freakonomics radio project where I started. I went back to 2010 and I've listened to every single episode since. So I'm on, I think, episode 432 or 33 right now. So I'm in October of 2020. So it's always interesting when you're listening to a podcast and you're going through a time period like the pandemic and listening to what they're saying at the beginning of it and in the middle of it. And so this is the second time I've done this, but they were interviewing this woman as they were talking about insurance and business gap insurance. So if your business for some reason can't operate, then the insurance kicks in, and how that didn't happen in the pandemic. The COVID was not covered by at least most of them. So, and what is the solution to that? And this woman was describing, they're in Texas somewhere, that they had a flood this year, a flood this year, a flood this year. And they got insurance after the first flood, but every time they had to go and fix things after a flood, it was $1 million plus to fix it. And I'm thinking, okay, they keep talking about
Okay, so
wildfires, but what about floods? And you're putting things in the same spot over and over again. So yeah.
so what is not unknown is weather. Weather
Pardon
is
me?
not weather is not an unknown. Weather events are not an unknown, right? But what is known today is the precise cost. We can precision anything in data and transaction. Um, and because of the risk of certain geographies due to extreme weather, we have now targeted those states because we have the information and we don't have the leverage of events not happening more globally, right? So insurance is just more expensive because the weather is just more, right,
Well,
risky.
look at France right now. Good God, what a nightmare.
Yes,
So, Tony
What's the
says I have
nightmare?
a client that
because it was so
they're
high,
insured.
people were jumping in. Go ahead, Orange.
Well, I was just saying that Tony had written that he has a client, their insurance has gone up so much they're paying off their house and they're going to self-insure. And I'm like, and that's dicey because we saw it, we've seen it in the
Yes.
Oakland Hills fires, we've seen it in all these fires where people don't have any insurance and it's rough, but yeah.
But if all their money is in their safe in their house, then it's fine, except for when it burns down and the money goes up in flames inside the safe. So then there's no safe way there either, right? If you have all your money nice and safe in your house and it burns down, the money inside the safe also burns down. So now you don't have any money to fix your house.
Okay. Okay. What?
Well, Kevin,
What?
I'm just gonna say there are fireproof safes, but the thing here is, and not to be flippant, but insurance is not going to be fixed by the insurance industry.
Right.
This, come on, it's just not
Yep.
going to
There's
happen.
no incentive for them to.
Yeah.
You know what, though?
So
Here's the thing. I can't put my grandfather's paintings or my dad's original painting in a fireproof safe. That doesn't save me. So I don't want my house to burn down because I can't, I won't have what my Nana gave me and I won't have, you know what I mean? It's not the crap you can go replace, and it's those memories and those family things that matter. So anyway, that is neither here to. Okay, let's talk about a little economic stuff that's been going on. So interesting because we had jobs data that for a few months made it look like the jobs market had really rebounded, was looking pretty fantastic. And since World Cup has ended, that has dropped off quite a bit. So ADP's weekly jobs report that ended July 11th showed 15,000 job creations, which would translate to about 65,000 jobs for the month. BLS came in last at 59,000, which is way off from the highs that we had seen for a few months there. So that it'll be interesting to watch that. May home price appreciation with Case Shiller and FHFA, it is showing what we're seeing with the other aggregators of data, which is home prices are up, not horribly, so just enough to make it a healthy market, but not crazy. So that's good news. New home sales in June were up 1.6%. So that's good news. And also, we have a lot of equity still. So they keep talking about how, they keep projecting, oh, it's all going to go to AG double toothpicks. But
Doesn't.
most of us don't think that's a good idea, including every economist I've talked to. Cotality's home owner equity insights came out for Q1 2026, and for those with a mortgage, there's almost $18 trillion in equity. All homes altogether, including those that don't have a mortgage, 34 trillion. 56.7 million owned mortgage properties with an average of $311,000 in equity per borrower, and only 1.9% have negative equity. That's less than a million homes. And in 2009, that number was 26%. So we're way off those highs, and the equity positions are strong. The delinquency numbers are returning to normal, but are still below averages. And so in all, things are pretty okay. Like,
Yeah.
Paul, thoughts?
okay, so I did the comparison. It's one of the only graphs on my LinkedIn. I think it was 2008 compared to current. And look,
For what? For what
for
subject?
home price appreciation.
Okay.
And so there. Okay. And what I was trying to say in that post was, come on, please stop talking about a crash, right?
Yes,
I mean,
please.
yeah. So so but what are folks doing? I mean, they're staying in their homes longer than ever before, right? And they're doing that um, less today because I mean, let's just say death and retirement and all this, life events are happening. But right now, there are, less of the lower and more of the higher interest rates, right? Because some of these people that had the lower interest rates are doing something to get out of those houses and, making decisions. But I would just say that the economy for housing is certainly not going to crash, right? Um,
I'm
but
knocking on wood.
yeah, but um, we have a situation where where the economy is just stable enough to just give us more of the same unless there's something catastrophic. Now, we consider war pretty friggin' catastrophic, don't we? Right?
Yep.
But war is not moving the needle as much for housing than it used to. So all these things that used to be catastrophic, we've sort of gotten used to catastrophic since COVID, right? I mean, catastrophic doesn't mean the same since then. And definitionally, I would just say that that's why people see these things and they just don't react anymore, right? We've been through so much, they just don't react. So I say be prepared for whatever's in front of you, and that's the borrower in front of you,
Yep. Yep.
right? And if you'll just pay attention to that and forget all the other noise around you,
Yes.
then you're going to win because, that's your focus.
Yes. Exactly. It's interesting too because the there I guess these guys who are constantly, they've got podcast every other second, they're on LinkedIn all the time. They're just, they talk a lot. They've got to talk about something, I guess, right? So I think that's where we are, but it's just like with anything when we went to the 24-hour news cycle, all of a sudden you're hearing the same crap over and over again, and it's not necessarily going to help you in your life. So to your point, we focus on things that we can work with, which is we can help borrowers, we can help people find homes, we can help people stop flushing money down the toilet for rent. So I have we've been talking about the condo changes that are coming August, where you're gonna have to have a full review on everything. And so I have some good news. You ready? Condo projects with 10 or fewer units may qualify. Okay, I'm going to qualify this, like really qualify it. Did I say qualify? Yep, I mean it. You may qualify for a waiver of project review, meaning the lender does not have to perform a full project review. For projects 5 to 10 units, the waiver is available only if the project is not part of a master association or a larger development. Prior to this update, the waiver generally applied only to 2 to 4 unit condo projects, along with detached condos and certain refinance transactions. So that's some good news out of the world of condos, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah?
That's the only good news.
Okay, no. Hang on. There's one more. Hang on. I got another one.
One more. Okay, hold on. One more.
Yeah. Okay. And by the way, again, I will say that I think that these
You
condo
didn't mention
rules.
the housing. You didn't mention the housing bill when you said that, though.
I did not. Nope, I did not. So the
Okay. Well,
also, okay, and just again, I cannot express how many times this thing said that to make sure that everyone knows that you're not automatically eligible for all this. So check it out though. Also, insurance may or may not have to cover 100% replacement costs for roofs. I think it's for roof. Well, no, not roofs. Anyway, in every situation. So check that out. So there's a couple little things for you to, drink with your tea when you're pondering what sunshine and roses looks like. How about that?
Talking to yesterday or the conference, and there was someone we were saying how, oh, the reserve rate's going from 10 to 15%. And their response was, oh, yeah, we were already at 20%. And a
The
good,
lender was the
yeah,
lender requirement. Ah,
no. Yeah, the lender requirement, the new rule is going to go from 10 to 15% requirement. But the person who was on the board of directors, who might actually be listening to our call today, said that, oh, yeah, well, since I'm on the board, our reserve rate is 20%, which is a very healthy reserve for a condo association, which is good. And
oh, in their condo association that they're in. I
yeah,
see. I see. Yeah. So I mean, condos. Some associations have really done a good job. I think the number is small because the numbers I've seen posted about how many non-warrantable condos there are in the country, it's a big number, and I think it's going to
It is.
continue to grow.
Mm.
And associations are really hitting the end of the road when it comes to being able to kick the can down the road. And it'll be interesting to see what happens. There really, in my opinion, need to be guidelines around who is on condo boards. It shouldn't just be the people who have time. It needs, if you're going to be making decisions about finances and construction and maintenance, etc., there should be some training that you have to go through so you have some sense of what the hell you're deciding versus I don't want my dues to go up. My neighbor doesn't want their dues to go up, so I better not. I want everyone to like me in the complex, so I'm not going to vote to raise the dues. It's we need more guardrails around
I,
the
th-
decisions that are being made.
yeah, I think these associations should have require a third party um, level of expertise to be hooked on,
Well,
right?
the third party expertise are HOA management companies who
I know,
also
but
have no guardrails,
yeah,
no oversight from the state or government, and they are making decisions that are good for them, which is why our borrowers end up paying $500, $1,000 for HOA docs that the management company who is getting paid to manage that association they are generating once and then posting somewhere and then charging every don't even get me started, Paul.
I know,
Those
but Audrey, I meant from an oversight perspective, right? From an oversight perspective,
whose
right?
oversight? Who?
Well, okay, so okay, I'll give you guys a real life example. A
It
Lennar
better be
home.
good, buddy.
Okay, a Lennar home, development is going in behind me, right? Where I thought that my house was built on, for that I'd have a greenway forever, and it got rezoned, right? So zoning, and I posted about this, and Lennar used to be a client of mine. When Jimmy Timmons was there. But anyway, so um, there there's water management issues, right? And so at the end of the day, I just had the wastewater management from the county come out, and I met with him at my home yesterday, and and literally that level of expertise. What I'm saying is, a lot of these associations can bring in folks that literally, maybe they're not paid opinions. These are expert regulators and government workers that will come in and give opinions on things, written, forceful regulatory opinions. And I think that that's what's lacking. These associations don't want to do that necessarily until they're forced to, or they
Yeah.
have a catastrophic event. That's my take on it. But at the end of the day, the complexity and the opinions run rampant because it's not regulated enough.
Yeah. I mean, and again, I have never like I hate too much regulation. I really do. But there are times and places where it's really necessary.
Yeah.
This has shown itself over and over and over again that this needs regulation. These people need to be told, listen, this is what's fair, this is what's allowed, this is I mean, if you want to worry about affordability, then don't be charging owners $8 quadrillion approximately for condo docs that are they should be just readily available anyway because you're an owner or you're buying
Or,
it or to the owner to the seller, right? Kevin,
where
what'd
do
you
you
say?
stop? where do you stop? Do you then continue on to individual homeowners? They need to be regulated too because they're not taking care.
No, 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 no,
Yeah.
don't start. You know what? You're
I'm
just
going to go
trying to do your
devil's advocate.
contrarian thing. No, he loves it when I start getting all fired up, then he just immediately takes the complete opposite position, even if it makes zero sense. He will.
Kevin,
Tony, don't
just
you agree with Kevin or I will beat you. I know where you live.
Kevin, just because you got poison ivy from your neighbor, don't be bitter, right?
Oh my God, maybe he's itching somewhere. That's it. That could be it.
Yeah.
So we have a comment here. Can't we fix that problem legally, passing a law that requires the management company to post all HOA documents for free? And there is a
I like that. Who
there
said
is
that?
a law that does say that the condo, or in California there is a law that says the association has 10 days to provide these documents, not for free, but they have to do it, before you have to ask for a rush. So, I mean, they will wait till day 9 to give them to you, or, it's just so nuts. And by the way, Tony said, I agree with Kevin. Then as soon as I said that, he said, I agree with Kevin even more than I did a second ago.
Thank you, Tony. Hey,
That's it, Tony. You are toast.
hey,
Toast.
quick thing for those who did not go to summer camp and mingle with other loan officers. I got a deal saved because I went there because I had a deal that was blowing up. It was a Hackery line, and the person had missed a payment recently, and it killed the deal. Well, I found a couple lenders that will do not a HELOC, but a fixed rate second. And the rate was much lower than the rate on my HELOC was going to be. And so it's like, oh, win-win. So you got to go to these events, guys, to really
I know.
value the stuff you learn.
I know. It is so important, in my opinion, to get out and meet other people. Paul, I hope you get out of your house and do something that other than go, get sunburned in the Dominican Republic. I think that for people who are working from home, yeah, it's convenient. Yeah, it's easy, but you're missing out on so much. So for goodness sake, Greg has an example. He said, grew a ranch in Southern California. Fires are always a concern. Last thing we need is government works voices in this issue. With technology, we're able to hook up all of our perimeter and common area irrigation with our local fire station where they can turn on our water in any direction a fire may come from. That's great. In this
Early.
HOA, we're able to lower the fire insurance, no governing intervention. The problem with that, I love that, but most HOAs, or maybe I shouldn't say most, a lot of many HOAs do not take the initiative. They don't know about these things. They don't do these things. It's crazy. So, and Tony, he's lucky I'm still talking to him. HOA is also doing the costs are $95, but a 5-day rush is $295 and a 1-day rush is $495 to get the info. Yeah, it's just a bunch of hooey. So, I mean, hooey is a technical mortgage term for anyone who's new to the business. So, internalize that and use it when you can. It'll impress your clients, I'm sure. Just real quick, Paul, the CFPB, it's interesting because they're doing some things, not doing some things, trying to shut down. There's this new director who's up for consideration, who our former CFPB buddy said is probably the best thing we could hope for as far as having a new director. Any thoughts on all of that?
I think he used to be a criminal.
No, he didn't. He did not. No, the new guy, I can't remember his name, darn it. So anyway.
Yeah. So look, I feel like the CFPB has been crippled and will remain crippled. It doesn't really, um, just not again, not to be flippant here, but the current administration won't be in office forever, and
You sure?
if this well anyway he's got a new hat. He's got a new hat. So um I feel like the CFPB is crippling along. It hasn't been eliminated entirely. I don't think that they can do that. It's been proven they can't. But do they have the reach, and will they, we've had less fines than ever before. Companies are violating less than ever before. There's less things being found than ever before, but they're not looking. And the states will pick up the slack.
They are picking up the slack.
That's right. The states will pick up the slack, and but so don't feel like the world is unregulated, right? It's just a different.
Oh,
You
it's not. Yeah, we
can't
know that for sure. It's just
that.
been a
I'm
shift.
unregulated. I'm just doing whatever I want these days.
Oh, jeez.
No, you're not. Okay. So I found, by the way, I found the clarification on the roof remaining life thing. I want to make sure. See, if you drop off because you have a lunch appointment at noon, you might miss something that really matters. Here we go. The reason so insurance is no longer requiring 100% replacement costs on roof. That is directly from Fannie Mae. They retired that requirement. God, I can't even talk. That it must be insured solely on 100% full replacement cost basis under the master policy. So they must still be insured, but they can be covered on an actual cash value basis if needed. Gives you a little more flexibility. Okay, so on that note, Paul Hindman.
Oh, geez. I
Wow,
want to. I
how
want to
soon
end
they
with thanking
forget
you. I
Hindman.
Yeah. I want to end with thanking you guys. And thanking everybody else. But and with the whole, it's a family, not a file.
It's a family, not a file. Thank you so much. Yes, 100%. So take that with you, people. Go get a loan. There are tons of them out there. I've got purchases there. As a matter of fact, I got a number of purchases like in contract there. It's people are buying. So go find some buyers, help them find a home. Go find somebody who wants to use their equity and do a cash out refinance. It's happening. It's happening. Cash out refinance, or not cash out, but refinances are up 7% year over year. So there's
Woohoo!
business. All right. On that bright note, mwah, have a wonderful week, kids. Talk to you later.